Hey guys, what is going on? This is Ip of RageQuitTV. Gonna be casting a game between RealMaker using his old ID Dream Zenith and Liquid Jinro. It is a TVZ on Tal'Darim. If you don't know who RealMaker is, well, he used to be Dream on Team Zenith. Duh. Zenith and Nex joined together, creating Zenix. Dream left it, changed his name to RealMaker, and joined Team NSH, also known as New Star Hoso. It is home of Tal'Darim, Sage, and Jotchki, and many other talented players, but I believe those are the three biggest. Sage considered one of the best Protoss, Jotchki winning a GSL, coming out of nowhere, and Tal'Darim, I think he's done well in the Korean Weekly. I don't know too much about him, but man, he has a awesome name. And it is on Tal'Darim. We'll see what these players end up doing. RealMaker is sending his Overlord down into Jinro's position, so he will see what Jinro is doing relatively early. Jinro going with a 10 supply depot, then a 12 racks, and then we'll see if he decides to go for a fast expansion or not. Since he placed his supply depot right here, I can only assume his barracks are going to be going in this area, and he's going to go for some type of fast expansion, most likely a 1 barracks expand. I have seen him do a command center first on this map, really taking advantage that Tal'Darim is a huge map, and it's going to be a long time till a Zerg scouts him, so it's very hard to just punish blindly, as not many Zergs open up with anything besides hatch first play, and we do see RealMaker going to be building that hatch right at 15, and when is he going to get his gas and pool? Is he going to go gas before pool, or pool before gas? We'll find out very soon. He is going back up to 15 supply, and he could go to 16, but he's at 90 supply right now, so I'm assuming he will be building a 15 hatch, 15 pool. Jinro gonna be going with the 15 CC, so gonna be going command center first here, and now it looks like he's gonna go 15 CC, 15 barracks. I'm noticing a pattern: 15 hatch, 15 pool, 15 CC, 15 barracks. That's a little bit odd, but we'll not focus too much on that. And since Jinro did go for his command center opening, I haven't casted too many games like this, so all my timing knowledge is thrown out the window. Thank you very much, Jinro. So we'll have to kind of see what he ends up doing. He is going to be building another barracks at 17. And the command center first is better economically than the barracks first. There was some debate on it on Team Liquid a long time ago. Just because you're skipping out on your mule for so ridiculously long, this mule is not, the order command is not going to finish until it looks like 4:45 or something like that. The drone is harassing the SCV a little bit because the SCV is so far away. It's going to be very hard to get someone in to defend it, but Jinro finishes this one barracks. The SCV goes on this. The injured SCV goes back home. Jinro does a transfer. He could have poked that drone one time without losing much mining time, and then it probably would have killed it there if RealMaker was still chasing it with an injured drone. This Overlord finding a place to stay on the high ground. Of course, the Marine cannot spot this. He is going to be stealing the gas, and this is very good for him, just because he will be able to see what Jinro is doing. He can cancel this gas, and then his drone has enough life where he can go to the wall, kind of see what those barracks are doing, see if they have any add-ons, and that will tell him what is going on. But, ooh, Jinro sniping that one drone instantly, and this Overlord was not on the high ground. There he goes, getting positioned perfectly. Now is on it. Jinro, of course, knows about that Overlord, brings his barracks on over, and that Overlord is going to be taking some damage. It may actually go down. It looks like yes. That scouting Overlord does go down, and now the barracks looks like it wants to float back here. It will be getting an add-on as soon as possible. He wants to put the barracks on this side before he gets that add-on, because he can't build one on this. Technically, yes, he can build an add-on on this side, but it goes on the outside of your wall, which is very vulnerable. You don't want the tech lab getting taken out when either combat shields or stim is near completion. So Jinro floats his barracks back, getting vision of the Overlord, and getting a tech lab here in a very safe location. Of course, if Jinro did spawn like in this position, he wouldn't have to put the barracks all the way on this side. He could just get the tech lab tucked safely in here, but that's one of the pains playing a Terran. The map positions do matter on your walls, and that can definitely change your opening. If Jinro didn't have to put the barracks back here, maybe he wouldn't get 3 barracks so quickly and wall that off. I mean, 4 barracks so quickly to wall this off. He may only get the 3. He is building quite a few Marines and starting this combat shield, so he's not going to be too aggressive. And RealMaker doing a good job at spreading his creep. Does have 3 queens out very quickly. That creep spreading pretty far on the map considering we're only 7 minutes in. Does have 2 tumors. We'll probably put 1 more tumor out, then bring the queen back and maybe get up a macro hatch or do something along those lines. There the queens goes to spread the creep just a little bit more. And RealMaker has a very nice creep spread. And you may have not heard of him before, but I was watching a Korean Weekly one time and did see him beat Gummihao, or Gummihoo. Whatever his name is, I saw him beat him when he was still in Codas. So RealMaker is not to be taken lightly, nor is any unknown high-level Korean. They are all really talented. It's so hard just to go up against them because the Koreans have so many people at a very high skill level. Jinro going to be moving out at 8 minutes, which means he should get to RealMaker's base around 8:45, 9 minutes, and this is just before the mutas. So even though he gets the combat shield first, he is going to leave his base. And this is just because to punish this creep spread, number 1, and number 2, he doesn't want RealMaker to just go 4 lings into mutas, because that just spells disaster. So while Jinro can still have map control, he does take it and taking out so much of that creep. We do have RealMaker building quite a few lings. Those are lings he did not want. Every single one of those he didn't want. Jinro now just sending 2 millions up, looking in, and then decides to go back. He didn't want to do any damage, really. He just wanted to put the threat on and say, hey, build some lings, or you may lose the game. And we do see that lair just finishing. And RealMaker is stacking gas right now, but that also did force a Roach Warren while those Marines came out. Those Lings want to put on some pressure. Those Marines going to be able to fend this off very easily. That combat shield's keeping some of them alive, as you do see. That Marine's at 5 health, 5 health. So he kept 2 Marines alive because of the combat shields, but all of them still at relatively good health. The stim pack has started. It's about 1/8 of the way completed. We do have a macro hatch, it looks like, in the main. But RealMaker is going to have to put some more creep tumors out on the map if he wants to spread that. You do see this queen going to be starting to spread it to his 3rd base. And I'm curious if he's going to go for a Spire or an Infestation Pit. He didn't immediately go for that Spire, so maybe he's going to go for an Infestation Pit. Getting some upgrades, and that does indicate Infestor type play. Generally when you get mutas, you don't focus too much on the upgrades. You do see RealMaker getting +2 ground armor before getting any like melee or ranged upgrades because he's going Ling Roach right now. And there we go, the Infestation Pit does go out. And the reason you don't see many upgrades with mutas is because mutas are a constant gas hog. With Infestors, you like need to get 6 out right away, then you need to go up to like 9 late game, and that's all you need. With mutas, even at 16, you don't have enough, and you just have to keep building those mutas, and that ball gets very high, you lose mutas, which means you have to rebuild them. Overall, you just spend a lot more gas in mutas. With the Infestor type play, you don't have as much map control, but you do get a lot more upgrades very early on because it's not as resource intensive. You don't need as many of them because once you get Infestors out, the longer they're out, the stronger they become because they start gaining energy. Jinro going to be moving out at 12 minutes, and this is another keystone timing for Terrence to move out right at 12 minutes. His stim is done, his siege tech is done, and the Zerg is going on his 3rd base right now. And throwing those scans, taking out all that creep, and going to be sitting on this watchtower. Doesn't want to go too far out. Stim going off to take out this one queen. The queen will die without doing anything. And this one creep tumor could go down, but that is allowing RealMaker to go on this side. And Jinro only sees those lings. I don't think he saw all these extra units. And this is going to be very bad for him because this is going to allow RealMaker to get a complete surround, or at least go attack from 2 prongs. And he's going to be at +2 armor. While Jinro's upgrades, he's at +1 weapons on his Marines. His tanks don't have anything. So his units are going to survive long enough to get close enough to the tanks. And most importantly, he's going to go at 2 different positions. So those tanks aren't going to be that effective. They'll still be very good. He has 9 tanks out. That's enough to kill like an infinite number of roaches. But not an infinite number of roaches coming at multiple paths. And you can see RealMaker right now just waiting for Jinro to move out. And if he catches him off siege, and now Jinro does know, there's a lot of units right here, and that is not good. But he's going to be moving up anyways, just slowly moving his tanks, sieging them up. And RealMaker getting ready to pounce. It looks like he missed the thing when the tanks were on siege, but here we go. So, no, he's not going in just yet. My bad there. Marines are going to be stimming up the ramp. And, that does give vision of this high ground, so this extractor is under siege. If it goes down, that does hurt RealMaker just because it slows down infestor production, slows down upgrades, slows down the hive, just slows down everything being on one less gas, of course. And Jinro, in the meantime, is getting his +1 infantry armor right now, getting a bunker up, just setting up as herd of a turtle as he possibly can. And of course, RealMaker has no idea of any of that. Actually, 2 bunkers going to be going up. Now the medevacs are out to lift those units up to the high ground. And RealMaker actually being in a little bit of trouble now. This is a very hard position to hold. 1 infestor goes down immediately. And maybe that's what he's waiting for, to get those infestors out, to shoot some infestantans or fungal growth marines. And now you can see Jinro even spreading to this side, but here we go. Units coming in from both sides. RealMaker attacking from 2 fronts and is attacking Jinro's whole army. That infestor used its energy on something. I'm not exactly sure, but Jinro is not going to be able to hold this position. Those roaches are actually pretty good if they get up close to those tanks. And RealMaker going to be pulling back now, realizing Jinro does have even more units, and at the same time, Jinro was doing a drop at this natural as he had those marines up there, and RealMaker lost that natural base. It is 11 supplied to 11 workers killed for Jinro, 2 workers killed for Real, and now he's going to be coming in even with more units, shooting a few infestantans or 1. That's all he can afford right now on that energy, and is going to be pulling back. Doesn't want that tank count to get too high, but at the cost of losing a lot of units. But he does want to do damage because he did lose this natural. This natural goes down so often in ZVT just because, again, the tank's on that low ground. One link sitting right here does see that Jinro wants to take his 3rd base. Since Jinro is out in the middle of this map the whole time, he hasn't actually taken out these destructible rocks, which makes him take a pretty risky expansion. I'm kind of curious if this is going to be a planetary fortress. Most likely, yes, it is, because it wasn't in an orbital command before he lifted up to move it. And also because it's very close to to RealMaker's base. So he wants to get that as a PF. This PF goes up, it will be very hard to take out. 120 supply for RealMaker, 114 for Jinro. Going to the workers, 52 drones, 246 SCVs. So despite him losing those 11 workers, 9 more than Jinro did, he is still ahead by 5. Jinro looking like he has just marines, looking at other possible bases of RealMaker, making sure he hasn't taken a sneaky base. And Lings just want to take the watchtowers out, get as much map control as he possibly can. While Jinro just wants to safely go up on his 3 bases, protect this area of the map, because if he holds this, it's going to be very hard for RealMaker to go into his main. And it's something you have to worry about when you're going infestors. If he was going with mutas, then Jinro could not do this, simply because the mutas would go into the main base and harass him. But because he's going with his infestor play, he cannot do that. And now it looks like he is going to be going for this PF. That could be a mistake. He will be taking it out, but he will also lose a lot of his army. Does get some nice small growths off all those marines, but now he is kind of trapped right here. Going to be just trying to take the small way out. No, he's going to be going back in after he gets a nice small growth, trying to find a way to keep these infestors alive. It doesn't look like Burrow has completed. No, it hasn't even started yet, but he does keep 2 of those 3 infestors alive, which is key. Those infestors are definitely the units he has to keep alive. For the same reason why I mentioned infestors are good, because you don't have to keep rebuilding them. But when RealMaker keeps losing them, well, he has to rebuild them. He's never hit that 6 count, and they've never got enough energy where they can just throw down waves of infested Terrans to distract those tanks, allowing his units to go up close and personal. And also, the upgrades for RealMaker just 0-2. For Jinro, he's at 1-1 now with his +2 infantry almost complete. So he's pulling ahead on those upgrades. This main base has been mined out. Jinro's almost mined out, and that's something you don't see every day. The Zerg player mining out their base before the Terran player, and it's just uncommon because Terrans have mules. So at the end of the game, I'm curious to go in SC2 gears and see how many mules he's used. And here we go, he is coming back in, does throw down those infested Terrans to take those siege tank shots. Marines now can be running back, but all those tanks going down. There's still plenty in this back, and I think RealMaker is going to have to pull back yet again. Jinro just has such a good hold on this position, He is going to get some banelings out. They do have baneling speed. And if Jinro loses all his Marines, the tanks will go down to those speedlings. His tank count down to just 4. He is going to be bringing 2 more. It looks like he does have 2 factories and 7 barracks, is it? 6 barracks. Some of them have reactors, some of them don't. That's not too important. Marines going to be coming in. Those Lings going to be taking out those few Marines without taking a single loss or a tank hit. And that was very nicely done. Not a huge loss for Jinro, though. RealMaker does take another base. Jinro, I don't think, knows about that one. No, he does not. And RealMaker still just contained to this area. Does have Lings going out just saying, hey, did you take this base again? And doesn't see it yet. The base does lift up, so Jinro not going to be depending on that. That spine crawler goes down thanks to the medevac giving it vision. And Jinro has this position yet again. But RealMaker can still do that kind of double-pronged attack, bringing units down here and coming in from the top. But look at this tank spread from Jinro. That is absolutely magnificent, and that really helps deal with these multiple pronged attacks. Jinro throws a scan up here, does see the units, is going to try to take out much as he can and kite back into that tank line. But it looks like RealMaker is setting up to do that flanking. See him spreading his units out before the battle. And here we go. He is going to be coming in here from both sides. And will this be enough? Those tanks are getting targeted down by those Lings. Very nice micro of RealMaker. And he is going to be pushing Jinro back for the first time. Devastates that hold Jinro did have. Now Lings, just more Lings coming in. And Jinro doesn't really have a hold on any part of the map. Still has these rocks. He is going to be trying to lift that one command center all the way over here. But RealMaker does have a Ling there. And oh, I missed a drop right here. Jinro has taken out this base during that engagement. And I will keep my eye out more. I normally don't miss those drops. Very odd that I've missed one so far. Oh well, I won't let it get to me. And one thing you can do before you engage in the tank line, what helps a little bit, it's very marginal, it doesn't help that much. But put your units on patrol, just let's say, patrol this area. Kind of do spokes. Like, highlight box of units, patrol this, patrol this, patrol this, patrol this. And then select everything and stop it. That will split your units up. And after that, well, then you can engage. Your units won't be balled up as much. And when you go to engage, if you're right here, use the mini-map to click. Because the AI, if you click short, it will start stacking the units up. If you click way far away, it will keep your units split up a little bit better. Just be sure to micro units when you get into the battle. Make sure the Lings take out those tanks. And that will kind of maximize your effect on it. Not by much. It's a very small margin. It's not like, oh my god, tank contains not a big deal anymore. I know how to deal with them. Just split my units up. No, they're still good. But that will just help you keep a few extra units alive. And we all know that is what it takes to win games. Keeping every possible unit alive. RealMaker has lost 22 drones, so when he lost this one base, it looks like he did lose 10 drones along with that. Jinro does have one dropship ready, and this dropship is coming back. Looks like that was the one used to drop all the units, and RealMaker just keeping control of all the watchtowers in that dropship, avoiding it. He knows, oh my god, he has this watchtower. I don't want it to go out. I could get phone growth by medevacs and taken out. Jinro is going to be going into Banshees with Cloak. And that is a very... oh, doing that drop there from that one medevac is going to be attacking the third base. Lings are going to be there before too much damage is done. 22 workers, it looks like maybe one or maybe none died. Though the scan does see that Hive timing. It's 26 minutes into the game, and that Hive has just started. He doesn't have a Spire, and holy lava, Batman. Does RealMaker have a lot of lava? That is a lot, and I know I shouldn't whistle. I won't do that again. Sorry, ears. We do have this base now just going back up, and drones going to be transferred to it. Going in this income before that, we do have RealMaker with more drones, but with less econ, and that's mainly because of saturation. Once this base starts getting mined, then he will be above Jinro's econ. Jinro had a very low number of gas. Still hasn't taken this gas on his third base. But as I was saying before I noticed that one drop, Banshees are actually very good against infestors, especially cloaked ones. Number 1, they kill Banshees very quick. Number 2, keep your Banshee spread out. It takes like a lot of energy. Takes a few infested Terrans and 2 Fungal Ghosts to pretty much kill a Banshee, which basically takes that infestor out of the game for a minute. So if your Banshee dies, the infestor is out of the game for 1 minute, or you kill infestors and they're out of the game permanently. It's like a win-win with Banshees. And I think 3 Banshees may be like the magic number. Maybe it's 2 and just do 2 volleys for 2 Banshees. And it will just kill infestors very quick. Keep in mind that RealMaker, that's his name, is just at 0-2. Doesn't have any of those missile attack upgrades. Does get phone goods on these Banshees. And both of them do go down. Didn't take too much energy. Actually, I think these were at 200. So around 300 energy to kill those 2 Banshees. Not too bad. Spore Crawler is going up because of the Cloaked Banshees. That is still a mining base. He's going to put those at every single mining base. He won't worry about it so much at his main. He's keeping 1 infestor there. That is maybe just to protect tech. And Jinro not siege right now. There's Lings getting up close to those tanks. If he gets a phone growth on those Marines before they split, that would be devastating. But no, he does not. But he still takes a lot of tanks out. The few tanks in the back and that one, the high gun, just doing so much. This tank getting kills as they run away. Up to 31 kills. Few infested Terrans come out to scare that one Banshee. It does cloak, but the infestors are already out of there. The Stim Marines, though, are chasing these roaches and now going to go for those infestors that are out of energy. And that's because they threw those infested Terrans out to stop those Banshees. So, Banshees, not bad against infestors. I definitely would recommend it, but you got to keep in mind, every Banshee is essentially 1 or 2 less medevacs. 2 if you count production time, 1 if you count resources, and also if you're starved on gas, it's 1 less tank. So just something to keep in mind. No Spine Crawlers here, so Jinro maybe will take this base out yet again, but no Lings are coming to deal with that. Infestor does get out. He does have enough energy to phone go so that medevac won't be able to pick up the units and just run away. RealMaker is going to keep that base just a little bit longer. Jinro has taken his 4th base, which is very good, as the natural has mined out. His 3rd base is pretty much all he's got going, but now he has his 4th. So will RealMaker scout this and take it out? The Cloak Banshee does come. Going to be tugging down any gas unit that he can get, which is Banelings. But everything is a little bit faster, and we'll see if he kills off this base. It'll be really good for RealMaker if he can take that base out. But Jinro can just cancel the PF and lift it, so the base isn't going to be going down. And there it goes, canceled, lifted up, and Jinro is going to hold this one here. Lots of infestors going out just alone. 1 does go down. And looks like RealMaker just going to go in for the counterattack, going for this 3rd base. But it is also a planetary fortress. So not too much damage is going to be done here. You can see the SCV switch to hold position, and that stops after this engagement. I'll talk about that. He is sniping this 4th base, going to take out those Spore Crawlers, and then he will take out the hatch. Doesn't look like RealMaker will be able to take that out. He does take out the tanks instead. But Jinro, you saw him put his SCVs on hold position after he started repairing the PF. He realized his PF could kill all those units. What he didn't want to happen is his SCVs to die. So as long as his SCVs are on hold position, anything attacking units does get priority. Unless, well, the Lings mainly target SCVs. However, if the SCVs do repair this PF, then Lings will automatically attack them. They do get threat. They get aggro. If they're repairing, if they're in position, they get 0 aggro. You can see RealMaker trying to keep these drones alive. So, essentially, by putting his units on hold position, it told the Lings attack the PF, not the SCVs, keeping his SCVs alive, and his PF just takes some damage, which he can repair after the Ling threat is gone. Now the drone's going to try to go away, and looks like he will be keeping them alive. But the Marines do get a very nice spot, take out some of those Lings. And keeping, this is 23 drones alive, is more important than keeping a hatchery alive. Taking out 23 drones is 9 times out of 10 better than sniping a base. Just because it takes longer to build all those drones than it does to build a base, but maybe not. I mean, he's got a lot of lava, but then again, 23 drones is like 1150 minerals. 11, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, don't want to lose that. So oftentimes you do want to not focus on the base unless it's like in this spot that Jinro is in. Right now, it would be a much better job just to kill the PF because Jinro would not be mining anymore. And of course, Jinro, I don't think he knows about that one base right here, but he may have seen the drone transfer and realized it was there. So, those drones, not idle, they just go to another base. If RealMaker took out this base, then Jinro would not be mining until he gets a base there. And that is so good. That is the time you want to take out a base instead of the workers. And those Marines are going to go down. Not too much damage done there. 29 drones killed to the 22 SCVs. RealMaker going to try to take this one base yet again. Jinro going to say, no, no, no. You don't do that. And this one medevac is going to be taken out. But this base is going to be forced to cancel. We do have Mobius Reactor just about done with Ghost coming out. Ultralisks are coming, but, well, Ultralisk may be a good answer. However, RealMaker, he's at 2-2 now. So he did get the 2 upgrades that he was missing on his attack. So those Ultras not going to be too useless. Jinro, though, at 3-1. It's kind of odd they just favored all the attack upgrades, missed fungal growth right there. And maybe it's because, well, he realized his armor won't do too much. If he gets fungal growth, well, his units should be dead anyways. Doesn't really help against that. So, favors getting all those attack upgrades, trying something new out, not balancing the upgrades, using that extra gas. Instead of getting these armor upgrades, he got those Banshees out, which took out those Infestors. So that's why he used those resources. And we do have a drop in this main, going to be taking out the spawning pool. Ultralisks do come, take out those units. Did the Ultralisk cabin go down? Nope. It looks like Jinro only tried to take that out. Same time he's trying to take out this base, but RealMaker is doing a great job at denying this. But overall, I think Jinro was better off getting those Banshees than that armor upgrades just because, well, fungal growth would screw him anyways, and these Banshees just doing so much damage. You can see these Infestors, they don't want to use the energy, and now they're going to be forced to. And Banshee will be going down. It does take 2 fungal growths and Infest and Terrans to take that Banshee out. And that is a lot of energy. Infestors just going to ignore it. Yep. They don't care. Scan does go down. Banshees are going to go target those Infestors. 1 goes down. 2 goes down. Now 3, 4. And it's going to be 6 and 7. All those Infestors going down. And that was very good for Jinro. Going down to the Infestor count, it is at 5. There are 5 Ghost out, 4 Ultralisk, 64 Lings. But with these 3 Banshees, I think these 3 Banshees are just going to flat out win the game for Jinro. He was kind of ahead. It was still anyone's game. But these Banshees just said, nope, game over, I win. We do have a big drop coming down here with units. Lings and Infestors not going to do too much. Jinro has units back here. With this attack going down, will go RealMaker's hopes of winning this game. 71 supply to 139. Jinro with a marvelous play. And you can see, yeah, didn't get those armor upgrades. Didn't care for them. He's like, fungal growth, screw me anyways. Banshees, oh, what I want to use that gas on. So, very nice call by Jinro. I have to say, I haven't seen that too much. And while I open up SC2 Gears, I just want to talk about all the players you had. I'm not going to do any spoilers of GSL. You know what I'm talking about. A lot of people compare foreigners. They're like, they're not doing that well in Korea. Idra and Huck got knocked out of Code S immediately. Both of them given an invite to Code S. Lost both their matches very first. It sucks. I mean, that does not paint a good picture. Well, you got to keep in mind the sample size for foreigners and Koreans. That is pretty one-sided. I mean, how many Koreans are there playing and qualifying for the GSL? How many foreigners? Even like MMA, I think, got knocked out of Code A. MC knocked out of Code A. So you just got to keep those things in mind. There's the competition's a lot harder than you'd imagine. And there's no named Koreans. While they may not be better than like MC or MMA, it's easier for them to prepare against MC or MMA just because, well, you don't know who those no-named Koreans are. They're not like no-namers on North American that just know a few timings. They're actually good. So, just keep that in mind. And it may be even harder for a foreigner in Korea because for a Korean playing those no-namers on ladder, they may remember those IDs. For a foreigner, you think he's going to remember Street Fighter symbols that he sees once? No, he's not. He's not going to remember that he played against Hadouken or whoever it was. So, just something to keep in mind. while I pull up this replay. So here we are. Let's go over into this. And I don't think there was really any like big game-changing moments that game, so I'm not going to go really back into the game. Just be focusing on SC2 gears for the rest of this cast. Let's go to the APM tab because that's what I always open at. We do have Jinro 54 macro, 134 micro, RealMaker 66 macro, 162 micro, and his micro APM was so impressive, toning those tanks down. Maybe we'll go back to one of those first engagements when he broke that tank line and just look at his targeting. His redundancy is 23%, Jinro's is 25%, EAPM 174 for RealMaker, 141 for Jinro, 229 for RealMaker, 188 for Jinro. Overall, not bad. Let's see. There was something I really wanted to look at, and I can't remember it now. 22-second gap. Let's go into the 10-minute mark. This is where NSH had a 6.6 second. He has an 8.5. Not too bad. Keep in mind that NSH finished that game out with like an 11 or something. Goes down to 12, and then it's just like all downhill. The action starts picking up. This is when his bases start getting sniped, and you can see his injects really falling once his base gets sniped because, well, he's got to deal with it a lot, and he doesn't have the bases anymore. It's that simple. The base goes up. There's no queen there because the base just went up. But also, we saw him have a lot of larva. Even though he had very impressive injects, was that energy really worthwhile? I mean, he finished the game off with, looking at his main, just these two bases. I think I'm on this. Yeah, I am on this. Just his main and natural, he has more than enough larva. So he could have used that maybe in other things. Creep tumors, I don't know. So while his larva injects were very impressive, it's not really an issue in this game. Just because he has so much larva all throughout the game. So let's go over to unit tiers. This has been my favorite graph lately. We do have a lot of gaps right here. I don't know what those are. Those don't look good. Generally, whenever I see gaps in any unit production, I don't like it. So let's go in the middle of this gap. Go overlay. Overlay charts. Overlay charts. There we go. Map view. He's at his base. Okay. Maybe supply blocked. I don't know. His vision's here. Jinro's is here. Yeah, it doesn't really look like they're ever really fighting here. So I don't know what that gap's about. Maybe it's a supply cap. Maybe it's not. Right here. There's another one. I don't know. I don't know what those are. And after this, I am definitely going to be looking in to see if there's any way to translate this to game time so we can kind of see. We can try to guess this. Let's see. 21. That'll probably be 27 or 28 minutes in the game. So, yep, it is in this time. And going into the game, you can kind of see, let me just double check, the XSplit is on that game. Yes, it is. You can see he is doing two things right now, but not building anything. He's got all this larva. He's got supply. He's got some minerals and some gas, but he's just not building units right here. So that's one thing to look at in SC2 gears when you analyze replays. Am I building units all the time? Am I building something? I mean, yeah, this whole time, well, right now, RealMaker, not doing anything. I mean, he's missing production cycles right now of just full units. Still nothing. There he goes, getting some lings. His minerals went pretty high in that time. So, just things to keep. Of course, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it's just me. I'm just pointing out things I notice how to use SC2 gears. So, when you go to look at your games, you can, see. And how I translated this, I just took a little bit above 25% of it, so maybe not that. I say, okay, this is 20 minutes of the game. Let's do... So to explain how I do that. I'll do that. I'll figure out the woods another cast. I don't feel like fumbling over them. I'm always lost for woods after a cast. It sucks. I think many casters come to this conclusion like me. And close out that one. And let's go this late game. Jinro's Mules, 24 that entire game. 23 scans. He almost scanned more times than he muled. If you add up his scans and his cooldowns, boom, equal to the number of mules. He didn't really abuse mules at all that game. Hit a lot of unloads, cloaks, 5 EMPs, 15 snipes. Didn't really abuse ghosts. Didn't really abuse any abilities. He had 6 upgrade to PS because he had to keep canceling and lifting them up. And that was pretty cool. We have 35 fallen growths, 77 infested terrans, 126 baneling morphs, 5 generate creeps, 58 spawn creep tumors, and 107 injects. Holy cow, dude. 11 transfuses, and that's cool. I didn't count any of those transfuses, but he did use them. Resources spent. You can see the minerals, of course, favoring RealMaker. Jinro doesn't have it so much, but the gas, even. 13,625, 13,218, a 500 differential between gas. That is so close. And a 10k between minerals. That's pretty close as well. Produced army supply, you can see. Total, he produced more supply than Jinro, but of course, Jinro is more cost effective. Going back into the game, going to this loss tab, Jinro losing 18k, RealMaker losing 21k, 3k differential there. And I think that'll sum it up for this cast. Thanks for watching, as always, and I will see you next time.